Hello, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising. Welcome to my channel. It is such a blessing to be here with you. So thank you for being here with me for your January 2024 Tarotscope. I'm so very grateful for the opportunity to connect with you. In the description box below, you will find links to information on personal readings, the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram, and ways to support the work I do here if you would like to explore any of those options. You will also find a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so please use your discernment and take only what resonates with you. If you find that something shared does resonate, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, comment below and or share this content, as it tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else, which is a gift to both this channel and to others as well, and I greatly appreciate that support. January kicks off 2024, a number 8 year, encouraging us to step into our personal power, to have faith in our own abilities and use them to their highest potential. These are going to be some of the themes that we are exploring for this month's Tarotscope, taking a peek at your overall energy, what new level of power and strength is being ignited from within you, what's gaining momentum for you this month, and getting some advice or messages to best support and serve you and your journey moving forward. Now, if you have been to this channel before, this is going to look a little bit different in comparison to some of my previous Tarotscopes. I'm only going to be using oracle cards for this Tarotscope. I do have tarot out in the case that I need clarity, but I really do love working with oracle. It is one of my favorite things to do, pardon me, and I do it probably more frequently on my channel than what I think I do, but I really do enjoy it. So let's take a look at what January is bringing for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Christ, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of January 2024 for Libra. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Tell us, please, what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within Libra. Yep. Okay. And that one as well. Thank you. Tell us, please, what's gaining momentum for Libra this month. Okay. Thank you. And tell us, please, what advice or messages will best support and serve Libra and their journey moving forward. Oh, good golly. Okay. Yeah, that one too. And all right, there's a lot there. There's a lot of advice or messages for you. Okay. So Libra, the overall energy of January 2024 for you, we have out here first, no place like home. This is the number 50. Now, for some of you, Libra, I feel like there's this energy of detachment, or feeling separate from or outside of or disconnected from self. I don't know what this is, but it almost feels as though like not feeling at home in your own body, or feeling like you're living someone else's life or something like that. Very interesting. I don't know if this is something that you're feeling through the month of January, or if it's something that you've already been feeling leading into January. But I do feel like January is trying to bring you back to yourself. It's trying to lead you back to you. If you look at the card here, there's this home. I know it might be difficult to see with the glare, so I do apologize, but there's this light coming out from the doorway there. And I feel like that light is trying to lead you back home to yourself. It feels like this, you guys might laugh about this. Pardon me, I'm getting fear. Okay, so let me just pause for a moment. I feel like for someone out there, and this certainly may not resonate with everyone, but it feels like there's someone out there who feels like they're spiraling. There's some level of fear that's coming through that is like, how do I get back to myself? How do I get back to it's overwhelming, honestly. Because it feels just like spiraling and feeling like you're on this like merry-go-round and it's not stopping and you can't see clearly and it's like, I don't even know what to do. If that is for you, I feel like, or if that resonates with you, I feel like there may be something here for you. Something very valuable here for you as we move through the reading. But overall, I feel as though there is this energy of trying to call you back home to yourself, right? The overall energy feels like what I was starting to say before I got that fear and spiraling energy was, kind of like this Motel 6, like we'll leave the light on for you. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but that's what it feels like, because I feel like you've strayed so far from yourself, from your truth, from your soul to some degree or another. And maybe that's not in all facets, but somehow it feels like you've strayed so far from home, and now it's just a matter of finding your way back. And here's the thing, home for me, from my perspective, is not a building. It is not four walls and a roof. It is not a community. It is not a group of people. It is not family. It is not anything outside of yourself. Home is you. Home is your soul, right? So again, I feel like the energy here is saying, that there's been this straying from home. And maybe you are someone who has sought home or a place to belong or something like that outside of yourself. And this is trying to call you back inward, right? The only place you're going to find that is within you. This is the number 50, and 5 is an energy, or can be an energy, of adversity, right? Of conflict. And I feel like it's speaking to the conflict within. Yeah. And the changes needed in order to resolve that conflict. And I feel like the means by which you can do that is by coming back to yourself, back to your truth, back to your home. So I think, January seems to be showing you that there is no place like home. There is no place that feels, how do I say, that feels as comfortable, as warm, as loving, and as embracing as your own soul, your own truth. We do have here the number 24, time for a nap. I feel like some of you could resonate with feeling like you're burning the candle at both ends type of thing. This is actually an energy that's been coming through a lot with this card, which hadn't really before. So I find that to be quite fascinating, but I feel like January is like a reset for you, or can be. Certainly, it's going to depend on your willingness to, do whatever is necessary to create that reset or that renewal or that rebirth. But this is what it feels like. It feels almost like this energy of a reset and seeing things from a different perspective. Because I feel like you may have been trying to go at it and go at it and go at it. Like I got that feeling of, for some of you, being on that kind of merry-go-round, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm like drowning, spiraling out of control because I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to move, right? Or maybe you feel so far from yourself that it's very difficult to see any clear path back. And I feel like this is where that need for that higher perspective is coming from, or that need to like step back. Because I feel like just continuing to try to go at it is not going to serve you. I feel like you're just going to continue to wear yourself out and eventually, find yourself in a state of burnout because it's not sustainable. I do feel like for some of you, there are things in your life that I feel you are probably being asked to just remove yourself from. I don't know what that looks like for you. Perhaps it's a relationship, a job, some kind of community or friendship group or your family or something. But it feels like there's just a need to kind of remove yourself from those things, because I feel as though I feel like it's adding more fuel to the fire that's already burning, right? Like it just adding more to the chaos. Again, take what resonates with you, leave the rest. But I feel like the whole point is to bring you back into this state of harmony, to bring you back into a state of balance. Some of you maybe have actually not been sleeping. Like you may have been up. I'm getting very kind of Nine of Swords from the tarot energy. If you're familiar, it's that nightmare card, like the things that keep you up at night, anxiety and worry and anguish and all these sorts of things. And I feel like if that is true for you, I mean, I don't want to encourage you to, not handle your responsibilities, whatever those may be, but, it may be time to take a literal nap. Because if you're burning a candle at both ends and you're not sleeping, like that is detrimental to your physical health. But not only that, I mean, you can't operate with mental clarity. Your emotions can be all out of whack. Your spirituality, like your energy suffers. And I feel so for some of you, I feel like there's actually like, take a nap, you know? It does feel like some of you, it feels like some of you may be in environments where you don't feel at home, where you don't feel comfortable or safe or secure in yourself. And it feels like perhaps that's why you're not sleeping, right? Maybe it's not just that you're actually, you know, you've ventured so far from your truth and from your soul, but maybe it's actually that you are in an environment that it doesn't feel safe or like home to you. And if that is the case, obviously, like, do whatever is necessary for you to be in a safe environment. That's so important. um my heart goes out to you if that is you. But I feel like go somewhere where you feel safe, where you feel secure, at least enough to get some sleep. Take what resonates, okay? But coming back to the card here, there's a fox sleeping on this crescent moon, and the oracle is looking over the fox, right? I feel like there's an energy again of getting a higher perspective, like letting your mind rest, letting your emotions rest. It feels like kind of separating yourself or stepping back from everything that's been going on and just breathing, relaxing a little bit, and letting God, source, universe, whatever you call it, I call it God, letting God deliver, like letting God watch over you, letting God bring to you solutions or answers, remedies, paths, whatever it is that are best for you. Because I feel like wherever you are now, it doesn't feel like, and again, please only take what resonates with you. It's so important. But it feels like wherever you are now, it's like you're too close. You're too close to whatever it is. And trying to figure things out, I feel like is ineffective. Right? So there's this kind of like, let God come in and give you the solutions that you cannot see yourself because you're too close. Take a break from all the chaos and let God bring you those answers. Let God bring you the solution. Let God bring you the path. Let God show you the way. I'm actually seeing this as well as like, let God light up your dark. Let God light up your dark. Let God be the light to lead you out of that darkness. Which is an interesting way to word that, because I feel like some of you maybe have been kind of more in alignment with your lower egoic drives, your trauma, your wounding, your pain, your programming, right? And maybe that's what's led you so far from your truth. Oh, good golly, we do have round and round. This is the number 25. Yeah, this is the energy I was picking up on earlier. Right? This like, feel like I'm running in circles, or I feel like I'm stuck on the merry-go-round, or I feel like, I'm trying to stand still, but everything is spinning around me and I don't know my head from my feet. I don't know my left from my right. I don't know, it really does feel incredibly overwhelming. And I feel the overall energy is trying to get you out of that. It's trying to show you perhaps why this feels the way it does, what it's trying to show you. I feel is, how do I say this? It feels like giving a lot of your power to your own darkness, which, here's the thing, Libra, like, I'm not saying this to make you feel some type of way about yourself. We all, every one of us, I don't care how saintly one believes themselves to be, we all have capacity for darkness within us. We all have dark impulses within us, lower egoic impulses. It doesn't matter, okay? We all have to face our own darkness, our own capacity for darkness. So I'm just pointing that out because I don't want you to think that I'm like, singling you out. But, it feels like there's this, like I was saying, kind of being very deep in our darkness, and letting that kind of control us, or being so caught up in external situations, relationships, whatever it is, and again, kind of being far away from ourselves is what feels like is creating this. It feels so overwhelming within me. Like for me, it's like I want to run from it, but there's nowhere to run, type of thing. Right? And so I feel like this is all unfolding for you to show you how much control either external circumstances or our darkness can have over us if we let it. Okay? This is the number 25, as I was saying, which reduces to 7. And 7 is, not only is it a number of faith. So, like I was saying, let God be the lighthouse, in a sense, show you the way out. But it's also a number of reflection, introspection, reevaluation, assessment, right? So going inward. And I feel like this is something that you're being called to do. Is like bring it back home, bring it back into yourself. Yeah, we do have clean it up here as well. This is the number 21. I feel like okay. So I feel like with this clean it up energy, it's really bringing to your attention, like I was saying, our lower egoic drives, okay, our darkness is ruled, or you could say that a lot of that stems from our trauma, or how do I say, within the confines of our darkness or our lower egoic drives is our trauma, our wounding, our suffering, our pain, our programming, right? This has a lot to do with, being fearful, untrusting, ungrounded, having low self-esteem, feeling powerless, feeling insecure, feeling, being easily manipulated by, external things, or again, our own darkness. So I feel the clean it up energy is bringing your attention, like I was saying just moments ago, to where power has been given to either those lower egoic drives or darkness, however you want to word it, or external things, right? And where it has kind of, for lack of better terms, been allowed to run rampant. And I feel like this month is putting you in a position where you can clean that up. Where it's saying, hey, you have got to address this within yourself. You have got to clean up your inner world because it is out of control. And oftentimes when we are codependent, let's say, on external circumstances or external people, when we are heavily engaged in that external world, when we're out of balance like that, oftentimes that in itself stems from our pain, our trauma, our wounding, our programming. So I really feel that your attention is being drawn to where there's healing, ultimately, that needs to be done, addressed. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying that this is fun. I'm not saying that this is like welcomed news, if you will. But I feel like for those who are really resonating with this, I feel like this may be a path that you have not, or a solution, let's say, that you have not even considered. I feel like you've been trying to figure it out here, right? And I feel like the answer is within. So, this may be something that you have not yet tried, and maybe what is, causing things to be all awry, because I feel like the imbalance is within self and it's being mirrored back to you by your external world. Okay, so as within, so without, as above, so below. And if your external world is like chaos, very turbulent, it is mirroring to you what is going on within you. And so if you clean it up within, eventually the external reality will also be cleaned up. I'm just going to read some of the key words from the guidebook here for this card, just share them with you. Okay. Yeah, so it does say here, getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. I'm actually going to read this oracle message to you as well. I just feel like it could be beneficial for someone. So it does say here, ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home also? Too much work, overwhelmed, time to clean house. Every item out of place natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to sense of lack takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds up to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. So I do feel like, again, it speaks of that imbalance, right? And 21 reduces to 3, which is about, growth. And I feel like this is what is potentially available to you should you decide to address these things. Whatever this is for you, it's going to look different for everyone if you resonate with this, okay? So there is not really, I can't really say do this, right? But I feel like it's time. It's time. And I feel like it's happening to grow you. I feel like it's also, putting you in a position, as I shared before we got into the cards, right? This number 8 year is encouraging us to step into our personal power. Okay. And I feel like this is a lot of what is unfolding for you, to put you in a position where you are in this place of personal power, where your external circumstances don't control you, where your own trauma, your wounding, your programming does not have as much control over you, where you're taking back your power from those things. Okay. So what new level of power and inner strength is being ignited from within you? We do have here the Avenger in the light attribute or upright position. Desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or one's self. Now, with this Avenger card, what I find, the reason why I kind of chuckled, Libra, is because, of course, you are represented by the scales, and it does say here, desire to balance the scales of justice. So here's the thing. I feel like this is happening because I feel like you have probably had things happen into your life that some would deem an injustice, that you feel were unfair, that were, and I'm not saying that to diminish, how these things may have impacted you. Okay. Some of these things may have been incredibly horrific, terrible, and I'm very sorry for that. I'm not trying to, invalidate anything that you've experienced by any means whatsoever. But I feel like you could have had things in your life that you've experienced that you felt were injustices, that you felt were unfair. And I feel as though at some point you may have given your power to those. So for example, maybe you experience something that says you are not worthy, you're not valuable, you're stupid, all of these ridiculous things that we have happen to us. We've all been there in some way, shape, or form, right, to varying degrees. And you are none of those things. You are worthy, you are valuable, and you're certainly not stupid. Okay, so I'm just using those as examples. And I feel like this is all happening, right? Because it's like you've been giving your power to these things. And in doing so, it's like that justice has not been served, right? And maybe you've experienced things where justice really wasn't served, where someone should have, perhaps been legally reprimanded for what they did. Okay? And maybe you did not get that justice. But I feel like the giving your power to it really, really doesn't, how do I say? It like really puts the power in that other person's hands. Do you know what I'm saying? The experience is like you give your power to the experience or to the person or whatever it is. And I feel like the reason why this is coming up is because once you heal and you start seeing these situations not for what they took from you, but for what it gave you. And I know that's really, really hard to do. I've done it myself. I know it's incredibly challenging, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of courage. Okay. But once you can see the things you've experienced, saying, okay, I'm no longer going to look at what this took from me. I'm now going to look at what this gave me. What did this teach me? What did I learn here? Why am I like how can this be of benefit to me? How can this empower me? Because everything teaches you something. Everything, every single experience and interaction teaches you something. I'm not saying we're like, yay, that was fun, let's do it again, okay? But it does. And so I feel like this is coming up to empower you, to imbue you with your own inner strength, reclaiming your sovereignty and balancing those scales of justice by no longer feeding that person or that situation power. Like, I'm not going to let this situation dictate who I am, dictate my reality. My experiences do not define me. I define them. I get to decide. I get to choose as a co-creator of my own reality, as a child of God who has free will. I get to decide. And I'm not going to allow this to define me. I'm going to define it. However horrific or terrible it may have been, I get to say, this is what this is. So I feel like this is why this card is coming out. Because I feel like this is about you and certainly not in a violent way. I want to make that very, very clear. Okay? But this is you essentially getting your own justice by taking back your power from that situation or that person, that experience. Okay? Which is certainly going to ignite your own sense of power within and your inner strength, your courage. We also have here the gambler in the upright or light attribute position. Willingness to follow intuition. I'm getting fear even when others doubt you. So I feel as though, Libra, there are things that are showing up within your intuition. I feel like it is trying to lead you somewhere. I'm very drawn to the picture here. There's this, person who is blindfolded. And I feel as though your intuition is certainly trying to lead you places. I feel like it's trying to lead you away from certain relationships, certain environments, certain jobs, certain friendship circles, certain family members, whatever it is for you. But I feel like it is absolutely trying to pull you away from certain things that just simply are not good for you. Some of these things I'm actually getting are even toxic. If that's your story, I feel like you already know. You're like, shit. Right? But I feel like your intuition is trying to lead you somewhere else. And there may be people outside of yourself who's like, no, that's not right. That's wrong. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Why would you do that? Yada, yada, yada. Right? But I feel like, again, this is part of you taking back your sovereignty. This is part of you no longer giving away your power to something else. Learning how to trust yourself, learning how to honor yourself so you can thereby empower yourself, so you can thereby, reclaim your sovereignty, become even more sovereign. Like, listen, I don't care what you say, what you think, I don't care. I have to live with me for the rest of my life, and I feel like this is what I need to be doing. You don't have to. Do what you want. But I have to. And so at the end of the day, what matters is if I feel like I'm doing what I need to be doing. Right? I mean, really, Libra. So it's very fascinating because I feel the energy within my body, right? And up here, it felt absolutely chaotic. Like really, really uncomfortable for me, overwhelming for me, just, in comparison to my normal state. And here, now you're kind of hearing my, forgive me, but you're kind of hearing my more Leo Capricornian energies coming out. Because it's very much like, listen, this is about you becoming the king of your world. This is about you taking back your power. This is about you being the authority over your own life and saying to yourself and declaring for yourself, I am no longer going to stand for this. I am choosing. And part of that is trusting your intuition. Part of that is following your intuition. Part of that empowerment does come from that because you are not ruled by something outside of yourself. Right? So, forgive the very passionate delivery, but I mean, I feel like you have this spiritual support around you, whether, that may not be something you can see with your physical eyes, but I really feel that, your cheering section is like, hey, we really want you to realize how valuable you are, how loved you are, how powerful you are, and we want you to be there. Because this is not good for you, right? So you also have here gossip in the upright or light attribute position. Awakens consideration for the feelings of others and honoring trust. I'm going to be real. I feel like for a lot of you, so interestingly, when the throat chakra is out of balance, like gossip is one of the, how would we say, it is one of the attributes that would be connected with that. And your throat chakra is, of course, like expressing truth. It is, communicating clearly and effectively and truthfully and honestly. And I feel like for some of you, you have not been able to do that, or you have felt as though you cannot do that, which I feel again speaks to, that pulling away from self, that pulling away from home, that pulling away from truth. It's like every single time you dishonor what you know within yourself, every single time you dishonor your truth, every single time you put that on the back burner, every single time you ignore it, it blocks, it creates a block within yourself. Multiple blocks, actually, if we're being really honest. But the throat chakra is one of them, right? And so I feel like a big part of what is being ignited from within you, right, in order to, bring forth this level of power and inner strength, is to honor yourself and trust yourself. I know it says here, awakens consideration for the feelings of others, but I feel like the honoring trust bit is what is standing out the most to me. And it feels like it's honoring trust for yourself. Like, I feel like this is a huge thing for you right now. Again, if you resonate with this, because again, building upon honoring that trust within yourself, developing that trust within yourself is going to contribute to your sovereignty. Right? It's going to contribute to you feeling at home in your own body. We also have here for you the Messiah in the upright or light attribute position, serving humanity with humility. And here's the thing, this has been a reoccurring thing, both on my channel and in Tarotscopes here. It feels very much to me and is very much in alignment with the Pluto and Aquarius transit that we have taking place for us this year. The whole kind of focus, if you will, on being of service, being more humanitarianly guided. It feels like God is calling people to these positions to be of service, to contribute to the collective. And I mean that not so, I don't want this to be confused, because this is coming from a place of, you have these incredible individual talents, gifts, wisdom, skills, knowledge, things that you have built up in this life and others that can be of great value and use to the collective, right? You have ideas within you that can be of value to the collective. And how do I say this? It's about taking those individual things, and applying it to the collective. So it is not about you giving away your sovereignty. It is not about you, just kind of enmeshing yourself with a community. It's about being exactly who you are within a community or within humanity, within the collective, and offering those unique things about yourself to contribute to it as a part of it. I hope that makes sense. And so, I feel like the whole point of all of this is to get you to a place where you are being of service. But if you are in a place where you feel like you're spiraling out of control and you are very far from yourself and you can't trust yourself and you can't trust God and you feel far removed and, you're consumed by your pain and your trauma and your wounding, that's not to say that God still can't use you. God just can't use you in the same way. And again, this is not to critique you. This is not to judge you. God will still use you. But when you are more sovereign, when you trust yourself, when you trust your intuition, when you are more balanced, when you are rested, when you feel, when you have clarity, God can use you in a much different way. I hope that makes sense. And I really hope you aren't, for those of you who have been felt, or pardon me, for those of you who have felt like you've been kind of spiraling or, very entrenched in your darkness and things, I just want you to understand, like, I am not judging you. We have all been there. We've all been there. And God has still used us in those times. It's just God uses you differently when you come to a more balanced, harmonious place. Okay? Because oftentimes when we are entrenched in our darkness and we're far from ourselves and we can't trust ourselves, we can't trust God, right? Like that is how we move. We move from our darkness. We move from our pain. We move from being untrusting. And a lot of times when God calls us, it's like, you've got to be able to trust God. And truly, God resides within you. So in order to trust God, you've got to be able to trust yourself. Right? I just hope, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with that and know that I'm coming from this place of love, because I get it. I truly, truly get it. Maybe not from your exact circumstances, because I've not walked in your shoes. I have not lived your life. But I get being lost in your own darkness. Okay? I just want to read some of the keys here for this card as well. Okay. So it says here, associated with embodiment of divine power and a mission to save humanity. Interesting. So I just wanted to point out, like, there, it does say here, and I think this is important. It says, tends to become obsessed with spiritual purpose, convinced that God needs him or her to do something. And the thing of it is like, we all have a purpose here. We all have things that we're meant to be doing, ways that we're meant to be contributing to the collective as we develop our individual selves, as we evolve our own souls. And someone who, here's the thing, like, I feel as though that could be incredibly misinterpreted by someone who doesn't understand spiritual science. Okay? So take that how you would like to, but I'm a firm believer in, we're not just here floating on a rock for nothing. Like, what would the purpose of that be? right? What would the purpose of that be? So, I do feel like all of this is unfolding in order to position you in such a way that you can be of service to humanity. And again, as far as astrology is concerned, Pluto in Aquarius is very much about that. So not only does it feel as though, God is calling people to their positions and their assignments, but it also the cosmos are lining up to that as well. Okay, so I feel like this is meant to be giving you like your purpose, something bigger outside of yourself that you can align with, that is fulfilling to you, right? That's like, okay, I feel at home in my own body. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel like having that purpose, whatever that is, okay? It doesn't have to be, having a YouTube channel or speaking to thousands or hundreds or millions or whatever of people. Everybody has their own little thing or their own big thing, because everyone has these unique perspectives, talents, gifts, skills, wisdom to share, right? And so I feel like this is meant to give you something outside, I don't want to say outside of yourself, but something bigger than yourself to apply what you hold within yourself to. Does that make sense? What is gaining momentum for you, Libra? We do have here Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms. Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like that awareness and understanding of things being divinely orchestrated, of your intuition guiding you and leading you for certain reasons to certain things as means of assisting you in the unfolding of your life path, which is bringing up fear. Again, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like some of you may have some kind of apprehension around spirituality or religion or something like that, for whatever reason. But I feel like for some of you, there's this opening up of, I'm not doing this alone. And if I stop trying to do it alone, things are going to get much easier. I'm not saying they're going to be easier, but they will get much easier. So opening up to that divine orchestration, the helpers in the subtle realms. Again, we have here willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. I feel like you could be opening up to that this month. Like, okay, and for some of you, I feel like it's like, because I've tried everything else. I've tried everything else and nothing else seems to be working. So now here I am and I'm giving this a go. What's the worst that can happen? I can be exactly where I am, right? That's what it feels like. So I do feel like that's gaining momentum. We also have your Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty, Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. I do feel like some of you actually have a more, how do I say, like a spiritual purpose. That's not the way to put it. Okay, I feel like for some of you, your purpose is connected to spirituality. Okay, because we all have like a spiritual purpose, a soul purpose type of thing. But I feel like your purpose for some of you listening is more connected to spirituality. So you may be someone who is, let's say, a channeler, maybe a card reader, whatever, some form of divination, some sort of minister or, teacher, of some kind of spiritual something, right? Some of you may actually have that as a calling. However, on the other side of this, I do feel like what's gaining momentum for you, should you choose to acknowledge some things about yourself, it feels like there could be this ability to see, how do I say this? To empower yourself by seeing beauty in the world. Because I feel like there are some of you who have been focusing on the not so great things. right? The unfavorable situations, the chaos, it feels like, because it's felt like drowning in it. That's what it felt like when I was up here with you guys, right? So I feel like there's been this heavy focus on all of the chaos, all the things happening, all the external things, so much so that it felt like drowning in it. And I feel like for some of you, should you choose to start moving through this energy versus being consumed by it, which I know is so much easier said than done, I feel like you could start to be focusing more on the beauty in the world, right? And creating beauty, being an active participant in the co-creation of your reality by seeking out beauty, by seeking out things to be grateful for. And for some of you, I feel like having a spiritual practice would be incredibly valuable. Certainly, you are going to choose your own path. You know yourself better than anyone else. And ultimately, truth be told, you know what is best for you, what you are or are not willing to do. But you do have Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms, and now you have Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. And I feel like with some sort of spiritual practice, you can lay the foundation that is going to provide you with a sense of stability, even in chaotic experiences. So I feel as though for some of you, this would be incredibly beneficial, incredibly helpful, whatever that looks like for you. I really enjoy and align with anthroposophy, spiritual science, esoteric Christianity. That whole kind of package is something that really speaks to me. You may want to explore those things. Gigi Young has an amazing channel on YouTube where she dives deep into these sorts of things, based off Rudolf Steiner's work, Anthroposophy and Theosophy, and a lot of other cosmogenesis, all sorts of other topics that are all kind of folded into one. But there's also, which is more of a Western tradition, spiritual teaching, but there's also Eastern spiritual teachings. So, whatever would work for you, maybe it's prayer, maybe it's meditation, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's, something. But I feel like having a strong spiritual practice could be incredibly helpful. Building your knowledge base, your lexicon, in spirituality, I feel like could provide you with incredible foundation. And for some of you, this certainly is not for everyone, but for some of you, that is what has been missing. Because when we try to go at this thing called life, in my opinion, from my perspective and through my experiences, when we try to go at this thing through called life without that spiritual base, without that spiritual anchor, it's like, it is incredibly more challenging. And really, it does feel oftentimes like life just runs away with you, and it feels like there's nothing you can do about it. But once you gain the spiritual knowledge and understanding and awareness, and you build that lexicon of information, you provide a foundation for yourself. And though you still experience challenges and face fears and obstacles and things like this, it doesn't have as much control over you. Okay, so take what resonates with you, but I do feel that for some of you, again, like I said, this is to align you eventually, perhaps not by the end of January, but eventually with a purpose that is connected to spirituality, that is rooted in spirituality. Again, not for everyone. Okay. We also have here for you Starseed, what lights you up. So I do feel like, should you decide to kind of find your way back home, to connect more deeply with yourself, I feel as though what's gaining momentum for you is discovering what it is that brings you great joy, what it is that brings you happiness, what it is that causes you to feel more fulfilled, to be more enthusiastic about life, because it's figuring out who you are. Underneath, we know the darkness or trauma or wounding or discomfort, the not feeling at home in your own skin. I feel like it helps you to get beneath that and figure out who you truly are, which thereby leads you to something often that is more in alignment with you and does light you up. I just shared this in Virgo's Tarotscope as well. So if you have Virgo in your big three, you may want to check that one out. Or if it's heavy in your chart. But if you would have asked me like 10 years ago, if I would have been, or if you would have said you're going to be reading tarot and oracle cards with a YouTube channel 10 years ago, even maybe 7 years ago, maybe even less than that, I probably would have laughed at you, because the most I knew about tarot was Miss Cleo's infomercials growing up. Like, I never had a reading done, never touched a deck of cards in this regard. Like, I would have never thought that this is where I would be. Okay. And I didn't discover that until I started peeling back some of the layers. So that's what I'm trying to share with you, or the reason why I'm sharing that with you is because we often move, perceive, and interpret the world. We often move in the world, perceive the world, interpret the world through our own lensing, which oftentimes is our own, because we have not dealt with it, our own trauma, our own wounding, our own programming, our lower egoic drives. And once you get beneath that and discover who you truly are underneath that, or even start to discover who you are underneath all of that, that is when you start to realize what you really truly do enjoy, what you truly do love, what really lights you up, what stirs passion within you. Okay? Finally, we have here, get grounded. Yes, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, there's this, how do I say, what's gaining momentum is the understanding that we are filters, essentially, okay? We are picking up other people's energy all the time, and filtering it, experiencing it. We're also experiencing our own energy. And oftentimes we are thrown completely out of whack and don't even realize that the reason for this has nothing to do with us, though that's not always the case. There are times that it has nothing to do with us and everything to do with the people who we are surrounding ourselves with. We're picking up these energies of people constantly, all throughout the day. Even just, making a quick stop at the grocery or the gas station or whatever it is, you are filtering and picking up other people's energies. The only difference is that if you are unaware of what it means to be an empath, what it means to be a sensitive, okay? If you are unaware of how we exchange energy, you will take what is that energy and believe it to be your own when it isn't. So like I was saying earlier, it may be very, very helpful to expand your lexicon, to build upon, to learn about spirituality and build upon that, to give you a foundation, because once you know, it's much easier to navigate. I'm a huge, huge proponent of the more you know, the easier it is to navigate your reality. The more you know, the easier the experience becomes, because you're like, oh, this is this, this is this, this is this, and you're not sitting here, what is going on? You're not just sitting, essentially in the dark, trying to figure it all out, which definitely been there, okay? So I do feel like what's gaining momentum for you is this awareness and understanding of, what it means to be empathic, what it means to be highly sensitive, and what getting grounded can do for you. Because certainly what I picked up here, if you are somebody that feels like you have been spiraling, it's very likely that you are very ungrounded. And perhaps have been not only dealing with your own darkness and own things that are coming up, but also have been taking on others, emotions, energies, darkness, whatever. Okay? So I do feel like that's gaining momentum for you. There are grounding things all over YouTube, meditations, practices. Some people, just putting your feet on the earth, bare on the earth, is very helpful. In my neck of the woods, it's really, really cold. I'm pretty sure that most of the US is in that boat. But there are other practices, there are other ways, other, guided meditations and things out there that can help to facilitate this. So, I feel like getting grounded is probably going to be something that's very beneficial, especially if, like I said, you have felt very kind of far from yourself or have felt very kind of like you've been spiraling, right? It can really help to anchor you, bring you back into your body. And that might be a very helpful practice as well. Okay. So let's take a look at the advice or messages to best support and serve you and your journey moving forward. You have the Divine Physician, Archangel Raphael. Thank you, Raphael, for shining your divine light upon my healthy body. Here's the thing. I feel like if you feel like, and I am certainly no doctor, I cannot and do not give medical advice. I am just a girl on YouTube, okay? So do seek medical attention from a professional if you feel that that is something needed. But I feel like for some of you, your health has been suffering because I feel like you've been burning the candle at both ends. And the energy has been so imbalanced that it's manifesting in your physical body. Again, not a doctor. Okay? So seek professional medical help if this is something that resonates with you. But it does feel as though your health has been suffering in some way, shape, or form. It could be your mental health, it could be your physical health, it could be your emotional health. But if you have these things, these ailments, these things that are coming up like out of nowhere, right? These are not pre-existing conditions. These are not things that, you have had experience with. And they're, seeming like, I don't want to say fluke things, because I feel like for some it could be like maybe you've had like a reoccurring cold or something, right? Again, not a doctor, but it just feels like there's something there. Take it back to God, right? Hey, is this cold I've been getting because there's, some imbalances going on? There's some things I need to address energetically. Take it back to God. Go to your doctor. But I do feel like you're not alone in this. I do feel like, we do have Archangel Raphael here who is trying to help you to move through that, to help you to heal not only your physical body, but your energetic self as well, to heal your energies, to help you, get better aligned there. Oftentimes those energetic imbalances, you will hear some people say it will cause dis-ease in your body. And it is your body's way of speaking to you. It is your body's way of saying, hey, there's something not right here. Something is out of balance here, right? And it is up to us to kind of delve in and figure out what that is. We have the inner voice. Thank you, angels, for guiding me through my inner voice. Isn't that fascinating? Because you also have the gambler here. Remember, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. So I do feel like that, your angels, God, Christ, your guides are speaking to you, right? Those helpers in the subtle realms are speaking to you to try to guide you, to try to lead you, to try to help you. And if you've found your way to this channel and you've found your way to this message and you are resonating with what has come through here, I don't feel like that's an accident. I'm a firm believer in nothing comes from nothing. Okay? So I feel like this is trying to help you to not only guide you to where, to what is best for you, but also to help you to learn how to trust yourself. All right? Focus your mind. Thank you, angels, for helping me to focus on my priorities. Yeah, I think you guys, I really feel like you have a whole lot of assistance here. I feel like you have a whole lot of help here coming through, where it's trying to help you to focus on, how do I say, to help you to bring you to where you need to be, right? It's trying to help you to stop that kind of spiral, to stop that intensity, the chaos, to, you know, really kind of bring you back down, to ground you. You know, I feel like you have help, and I feel like you can ask for that, right? I feel like you could really ask, you know, angels, I really don't know what to do here. I'm really struggling. You know, like, help me to focus, help me to ground. Certainly you can keep, you know, doing it on your own if that's what you've been doing. You know, you don't have to listen to anything I'm saying here, but I do feel like there is this message coming through of that inner voice, that guidance, right, is coming through to help you, or to try to guide you, in order to bring you to a place where you can focus your mind, in order to bring you to a place where you can focus, where you can come back to self, where you aren't feeling like you're spiraling all over the place, and you don't feel like you're out of control. We have here as well, open your heart, Archangel Shamuel. Thank you, Shamuel, for removing the barriers around my heart. Yes, you know, as I was saying earlier, you may have found yourself in positions where you have felt like you cannot trust yourself, where you have felt like you have been wronged, and, you know, where you've experienced injustices, and that may have had you put up this barrier around your heart, between you, between you and God, right? And other, how do I say? I mean, it really does feel like between you and you, honestly, and you and God, of course, because God resides within you. So I feel like the advice here for you is to, again, kind of lean into this spiritual guidance, or you know, those helpers in the subtle realms, God, Christ, whatever it is you resonate most with, and to allow that to help you to remove those barriers, to allow that to help you to trust yourself, to allow that to help you to open up to yourself and to God within you. Because here's the thing as well, okay? When you do not trust yourself, you really struggle to trust others as well. Right? You really, really do. So, yeah, I thought we might see this card. We have the Miracle of Forgiveness, Archangel Jeremiel. Thank you, Jeremiel, for helping me to understand the process of forgiveness. And as I was saying earlier, right, this whole kind of balancing of the scales, you know, of justice, if you will, is really about playing the alchemist. I was able to forgive things that I didn't think I would be able to forgive by looking at what it gave me versus what it took from me, or what I felt it took from me, right? I was able to find forgiveness in that way. And prior to that, I was not able to, right? I really struggled to find forgiveness because I felt so wrong, so betrayed. And once I was able to see, oh, this situation, however painful, challenging, horrific it may have been, provided me with something. I was given a gift there. And all this time I've been focusing on the pain, right? I've been focusing on what I felt it took from me, and was unable to see the gift. And now that I'm able to see the gift, I am able to forgive. And I know maybe that's kind of I don't know if that's like really odd. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, but it's what worked for me. So, you know, I really feel like some of the advice or messages that's coming through here for you is to open your heart up to forgiveness, not only of others, but of yourself, because that's going to bring things into a more harmonious and peaceful state. It's going to feel more balanced, and you are likely to feel less, how do I say? Let me back up a little bit. You're likely to feel more empowered, right? You're not going to feel so powerless against whatever it is, or so powerless with whatever it is that comes up within you. I hope that makes sense. Finally, like I said, you have spiritual support. Dear angels, I allow you to support me as I grow to become more spiritually aware, which is really interesting because I've already said that you have this support around you clearly, right? And you're certainly not doing this alone. God is trying to speak to you through your intuition, right? And I feel as though this is also speaking to the fact that, God is trying to, or encouraging you to build upon your spiritual awareness, your spiritual knowledge, to really begin to open yourself up to understanding spirituality on a much deeper level, not just what is taught in church. And again, I'm not judging anybody who aligns with that. Your truth is your truth, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, like, to me, what is taught in more dogmatic religious circles is very surface level. It is not esoteric. It's not deep enough. Okay? It doesn't get, it just simply is, it's just not enough. It doesn't provide us with real foundation, I feel. And in fact, in a lot of cases, it's, to me, feels like it's encouraging us to give our power away, which I don't feel is helpful. So, I feel like it's beautiful that the final piece of advice or message that's coming out for you is, saying that you have this spiritual support, and encouraging to be more open to it as you become more spiritually aware, as you open up to, the divine, God, source, universe, again, whatever you call it, moving in your life, moving through you via your intuition, right? And orchestrating things in your life to try to bring you to a better place, where you do feel like you have a firmer foundation or more stability or security to stand on. Wow, this has been really, really intense, Libra. It does seem, though, to me, certainly, one of the key takeaways from this, if I were you, would be that I'm not doing it alone. And that certainly can be incredibly empowering, going from feeling like you are all alone to feeling like you have some support can really, really do a lot for us, as we try to break free from some of the things that have been limiting us, or kind of taking our power, or something we've been giving our power back, or pardon me, giving our power to. It can really help us to take that back, to empower ourselves, and to certainly grow and evolve with that as a firm foundation. So that's what I have for you for January. I know it's a lot, but I pray that something here is helpful for you in some way, shape, or form, that it's been valuable or provided some kind of confirmation or understanding for you that helps you to navigate your month and even beyond. Know that you are not alone. Know that you are so loved. Know that you are strong, and know that it is well within your ability to take back your power and to move from a place of strength, and from a place of courage, and from a place of sovereignty. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate your time, your energy, and your attention. Take care of your growing, evolving, strong, courageous soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.